guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm Dee.
And today we're going to recap season 5, episode 3 of The Kardashians. Can I say that we are officially bored of them, but we're committed and we're going to continue watching them. So this episode is called This Is Going to Be Really Hot Tea, but it seems to be like it's very cold coffee. Obviously, we're going to tell you our opinions, but we're going to read an article from
Ortskita.
Eso mismo, from them, and then we're going to give you our opinions.
Okay, so the recap was written by Shrita Zaveri. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but okay. So the third episode of The Kardashians season 5, This Is Going to Be Really Hot Tea, was released on Thursday, June 6th on Hulu. The latest episode saw the golden, well, not the latest, but the third episode saw the Golden Bachelor star Jerry Turner visiting Kris Jenner's house as Kendall has been his biggest fan. This episode also explored a new storyline, with Kris fearing she might be losing her hearing due to a persistent ringing in her ear. Two single moms, Kim and Khloe, discussed how stressful solo parenting could get sometimes. The episode concluded with Kim's ladies-only birthday party organized by Khloe and attended by esteemed guests such as Ivanka Trump and Lauren Sanchez, among many others. Okay, so what really went down? The episode opened with Khloe visiting Mama Jenner's house. While there, Kris shared her concern about the constant ringing in her ear, which Khloe initially dismissed. Kris was scared she might need a hearing aid, but Khloe reassured her, saying that their grandma MJ doesn't need a hearing aid at 90, so she wouldn't need one either. Accompanied by Scott, the trio discussed their plans for Kim's birthday party. Meanwhile, Kim, on her way to an appointment to get someone out of jail, that seems like a very throwaway sentence, talked about the challenges of being a single mom of 4 and wished she were stricter. She also joked about potentially being featured on an episode of Snap. So before I continue, let's discuss this first portion being Kris, Khloe, and Scott, and the fact that Kris thinks she may need a hearing aid. And then Kim going to free somebody.
You know, I read an article that says the Kardashians are so desperate for a storyline that they have to use Kris's health as like one of those plot things.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more. I'm like, Kris always has some kind of ailment going on. I'm not saying it's not true, but why can't anybody just be like, oh no, I'm bored. There's nothing going on in my life. But of course, this is the Kardashians, and in true Kardashian fashion, there's something going on. I don't know how I felt about it. What I did notice is them room hopping. Like, that was the weirdest thing. So they went, they were in living room 1 where they had this massage chair and they're talking about her hearing. And then they go to room 2 to do the same thing, to sit down on couches and now talk about Kim's birthday. What was the point of that? I would have liked them to go get a snack, like something like with a purpose. So it's like what, to show off their living rooms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of annoying to me. But I don't know, to each their own. In this episode, I did like the Khloe banter. It was like kind of reminiscent of the old Khloe, the old Scott before Scott, inserts his, true and false allegations, rumors that he wants to address. It was just it was nice. It's like, Kris, there's nothing wrong with you. And he's making fun of her, and Khloe making fun of her mom. I miss that. That's very keeping up. So I like that. Regarding Kim being a stricter mom, I think we mentioned it on a previous episode. A previous recording. Kim is just guilty because she has 10,000 other things to do.
Yeah.
And I think she's just trying to overcompensate and give the kids everything that they want, in her absence. It's like, this is the least I can do. So to her demise, they might be a little misbehaved because she's not around, or because they're spoiled and they're getting everything that they want. So her saying that she's going to be in an episode of Snapped, I'm like, well, I haven't seen an episode of Snap where people snap on their kids. It's usually a husband, a cheating husband, or maybe a wife, but I remember
Right.
husband. I don't even know why we were watching that like at 12, first of all. But
Yeah.
that was kind of weird. I'm like, him, don't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, so yes, they have now talked about a Kris Jenner health ailment every season at this point. Um, I want to say that it I feel like they tried to make it seem a little bit like bigger, than like what it is. Um, because I guess because of her age or whatnot, but we know that she has access to the best doctors money can buy. So it's hard to kind of really be like, oh my God, what if something really is wrong? Because
Yeah.
we wouldn't be hearing about it on the show. We would have already seen a headline. So it all feels very like anticlimactic, right? There is no like element of real surprise or where there's like real concern. And I think that bringing Scott around almost feels, it feels forceful again, like they're just trying to bring in like a comedic relief, right? um the good thing is, like you said, I feel like Scott kind of brings that out of Chloe, like that old Chloe.
Mhm.
So that's a good, that's a good thing. At least we get that because they have that sort of rapport. And Scott yelling at the end was hilarious. That was a very keeping up kind of moment because he scared the crap out of Chris. But yeah, so there's a gripe that I have, and it was more apparent to me in episode 4, but I'll go ahead and like say now because I'm sure they did on episode 3 as well. It feels like they do these very strange montages of everyone showing up to the house. Like, we need to see their cars. We need to see them get out of their cars. We need to see their outfit. This is a whole catwalk, like a fashion show. Why do we need that? Like, just open the damn door, walk in. I don't know. It's so weird. And it just kind of feels, it all feels very forced, and it all feels very like, like it's all made up. It doesn't feel like this is just a natural occurrence, right? We're coming over to our mom's house to discuss her hearing problem. No, like it all just feels like, oh, let me make sure I have my best outfit on, and I bring my best car out, and everybody gets to see that. Like, I don't know, it just feels weird. As far as Kim and the kids situation, I mean, yeah, I think like I'm sure being a single mom is very rough and having to like kind of balance all of that. But also like there's choices that are made, and the choices that are being made are, let me do these 10, 20 jobs versus let me have these boundaries with my children so that they can not be spoiled or whatnot. Like, I'm not judging her parenting or nothing like that, because at the end of the day, you're going to parent how you're going to parent. We don't know the full extent of the circumstances. But to me, everything boils down to choices. So again, Chloe made a choice. She's a strict parent. Kim is choosing not to be that way. So it kind of feels like you're, when you say, "Oh, I wish I could be as strict as Chloe." Well, you can, but you're
Hmm.
choosing not to. You're choosing like to allow the guilt and all that stuff to get to you. But the reason you have the guilt is because you're choosing all these jobs versus all these other things. So anyway, goes to it just goes to say that like essentially all of this again just feels very forced, like, oh, let me just come up with like some kind of storyline, or let me just try to be relatable,
Hmm.
because what mother isn't going to relate to having to deal with like, guilt over working and all that stuff. Moms, regular moms, have to deal with the guilt of working these 9 to 5 jobs that are really strenuous and stressful and create a lot of issues. Regular moms aren't having to balance 10 jobs, thankfully, but some but this is a choice. She's purposely doing that. There's moms that have to have 2 3 jobs, but that's just to make ends meet. So it kind of falls flat to me, like it feels out of touch a little bit. So anyway, let's
One,
continue. Oh, okay.
one more. She might also be feeling guilty about not being with Kanye. They're focused on being, like a family unit. You know how they protect their men. It's like
Mhm.
you're part of our family forever. So I've met a lot of women with kids or friends of ours or just friends that I know that if they split up with their husband, through divorce or a relationship and they break up and they have a kid, they have this guilt sometimes. It's like, well,
Mhm.
let me, do XYZ or spoil them a little more for the absence of
Mhm.
dad. So that could also be a contributing factor,
Yeah, yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. It could
which is
be a
bad.
big part of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very. Um, and that's that's just like a really like unfortunate situation because your kids are kids, so right now they're only seeing one side of things. But when they're older,
Hmm.
they'll know. Like when they're older, they'll know who was really there and who was doing the best that they could and all that. So, okay.
So we're competing with Kanye. I mean, she's competing with Kanye. Like we saw an episode. I know I keep dragging this along. We saw an episode where I think Kim discussed that North flipped out because her dad doesn't have, personal chefs and he
Oh
lives in an
yeah.
apartment and da da da. So now we have the kids making her feel guilty that they have all these things or not. I don't know why I wouldn't want a personal chef because I would. Um, so Kim has to even overcompensate because of that as well. So this girl's just taking it everywhere. But like you said, it does kind of fall flat because of the choices that she's making. She can choose to chill for the rest of her life. She a whole a billionaire.
Yeah.
Skims can run on its own. Girl, relax. Okay, continue.
Jesus. Well, okay. So now back to Kris Jenner's house. The Kardashians invited the Golden Bachelor star Gary. Is it Gary or Jerry? Anyway, Turner over for dinner. While there, Kris and Kendall bombarded him with questions about the behind the scenes of the show and even tried to guess whom he chose as the winner. The third episode of The Kardashians filmed before the finale of The Golden Bachelor airing. And Kendall guessed that Teresa was the winner after going through Gary's phone and seeing her name frequently. On the other side, Kris asked him about the hearing aid and ear ringing. He said his ear rang before he had to get a hearing aid, which confirmed Chris's fears. Okay. So before we move on to the next topic real quick, I thought this was such a weird little side thing, but what did you think about that whole scene?
I'm actually kind of annoyed. They're just like throwing this golden bachelor down my throat. Like I'm like, is that show suffering? Is it connected to the Kardashians in some kind of way regarding ratings or things like that? I'm like, I do not want to see the Golden Bachelor. It's just weird. I'm
Mm,
like, okay, so Kendall, she says that her storyline is more than anxiety or dealing with mental health and things like that. But all she's been talking about for the last 3, 4 episodes is this Golden Bachelor. I'm like, so this is your third thing to talk about?
Fun,
Girl, come on.
Kendall. That's fun, Kendall.
Oh, okay. What did you think?
Um, okay. It feels very, very weird. Because this is a regular person who
Mhm.
went on a reality show, right? For this dating thing or whatever. And here he is being invited to these rich ass people's house, and they're like just literally bombarding him with a million and one questions, and he's got to be like the most polite person in the world to like really sit there and deal with it. And then like they go and they watch the episode with him, but it's just like such an awkward thing. Like I don't know, like it all overall felt like very awkward. There was no acknowledgement for the woman that was also there with them. I don't know if that's Kendall's assistant, something to Kendall, but there's another woman that was there, and I was just like, who is this person? Like, she was just kind of lingering. I think she even asked him questions, and I was like, oh, okay, poor guy. Um, One thing I'm gonna say, and y'all may judge me for it, but when I saw Kris and him alone together, I was like, now, Kris, this looks more appropriate. This looks a little better for you.
She just celebrated her 10
I
year
know.
with Corey.
I know. Listen, Linda. I said I know I'm gonna get judged for it, but it just okay. To me, I feel like she kind of has always had these like long-term romances, relationships, or whatnot, but there's always been some sort of an issue, right? We know that um things ended with Robert Kardashian, mainly supposedly allegedly because of her cheating. Then she gets with Bruce Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, who then becomes Caitlyn Jenner. And then she chooses to be with Corey, who I don't really know that anybody knows much about. There's all these theories that he's a CIA agent, that he's doing this, he's doing that. It's weird. It's all weird. Um, but like seeing her with this guy, I was like, oh, an age appropriate man who like seems to like have his life together. And then I remembered he was in a reality dating show, and the thoughts quickly dashed away because why was he in a reality dating show? Anyway, that was it. Let's continue. Whew, hot mess over here, y'all. Okay, so we, of course, like we talked about, that was the whole situation with the Golden Bachelor. Later, Chris and Chloe visited Scott's house to meet Penelope's new puppy, Nibbles. During their visit, Scott asked Chloe why she hadn't found someone to date. Chloe explained that most of her day was occupied by her kids, and she valued her personal time at night too much to share it with anyone else. Chris was accompanied by Kendall and Scott to a doctor's appointment to check her ear. The doctor assured her that she was completely fine and that nothing was wrong with her hearing. All, all anticlimactic. But before we move on to the next phase here, okay, so we get a lot of Scott in this episode, which I like. It's good. It's fun, right? But that scene where Scott is asking Chloe, "Oh, is there no chance for Tristan anymore?" I wanted to throw my shoe at the screen. I was done. Before I go on a rant, what did you think?
No, I wanted to do the same thing. A big old boot. But then I have to pay for my own TV, and what would
Yeah,
that do?
yeah.
Um,
Right.
I think it's probably because we're seeing Trish trash all throughout these episodes, and he's like part of the storyline. Well, he's in Cleveland, finally working or trying to play basketball for the Cavaliers, which he was a trash player to begin with. But that's another subject for another day. But they don't leave my girl alone. Like they're just so, and that's typical Kardashian. They
Mhm.
are so fixated that they want to solve a problem in a certain way, or they want things to look in a certain way. Like, well, you should be dating now, and your life should look like this, and you should live here. And you know how the sisters just meddle into each other's lives. It hasn't stopped, and I think it's at this point not healthy because we know that Trish trash has hurt this woman deeply. Like I'm not saying walk around with tiptoes,
Yeah.
but if you want to ask, okay, ask. But they're almost like wishful. They want her to get back with this man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he did this once.
Or
I
twice.
mean, epic. It's not like he did it twice. He did it multiple times. Blatant disrespect. Both pregnancies, like natural and surrogate.
And he had a whole other kid.
A whole other kid messing with my little sister's best friend. Like at some point, you got to be like, that's
Yeah.
it. Like that girl seems happy. She doesn't want to do anything. You know, sometimes people just need to
Mm-hmm.
cleanse the old relationship, the old job, the old, I don't know, friend, the old whatever, just
Yeah.
so they can start fresh. And if her piece is just being alone from 9 to 4 a.m. and just doing what she wants, she's entitled to. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is what she needs to feel better to actually move on. She just needs time, and people just keep bringing it up. It's just like a wound that doesn't heal. I,
Yes.
yeah.
Very accurate.
It's
Um,
not, it's not like anybody's asking Scott, are you going to get back with Courtney? Are you going to try to take her back? Nobody's asking her that. I mean, him that.
nope.
Exactly.
And nobody was asking him that when he was with Sophia Ricci. Nobody was asking him that when he was with the other girl. I don't even remember what her name was. Like, no. So, okay.
Hmm.
Here's the thing, and we've talked about this in previous seasons. Once again, nobody is listening to Chloe. None of them. And honestly, like like you said, everything he did to her, that was all years worth of pain. And that's after years of her already having been in a relationship with him. So we're talking about several years of this relationship, all the good parts and then all of the bad parts. To expect for her to just be fine and over it, I think is unreasonable. Because Tatum is what, like one or two, maybe?
It seemed like 1.5 in the show.
1.5.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you expect this woman in under 2 years to just be perfectly fine and live her life like if nothing had happened after going years of trauma, not just personal trauma, but public personal trauma. I feel like that amplifies it like
For real.
tenfold. So
Mhm.
again, like she's made it very clear for a while now. Her kids are her happiness. Her home is her happiness. She's at peace. She finds joy being at home, and that's it. And I feel like it's gotten to the point now where they're trying to make the season be like, oh, there's animosity between Kim and Chloe. There isn't. The whole thing is just Kim trying to push Chloe to do these things because, oh, well, Kim got divorced and then she started dating somebody else, so she's fine. But that's not how everybody works. I can move on, let's say tomorrow, but let's say for you, it's going to take you a couple of months, and that's fine. That's okay. And I feel like they're not giving her the respect of believing her, the respect of listening to her and understanding that nobody knows her better than she knows herself. And that's been like, I think one of the more frustrating aspects of the show is that we keep coming back to the same plot point, keep coming back to the same thing. And we see that, I believe it's in the fourth episode, Trish Trash is brought up again. And it's just like the fact that Chloe continues to be conflated with him, that's going to like continue the issue. People need to really do that full separation. And it's sad to me that her family, her actual family that she's so close with, is the one that keeps kind of pushing this. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I got so mad last season at Malika, because I was like, you're the bestie. You should know better.
Mhm.
So here we are with her family once again doing the same thing over and over again, and it's infuriating to watch, honestly. Aside from it being like boring now, it's also becoming infuriating because it's just repetitive what they're doing.
Ditto.
Anyway, so um the whole hearing aid thing, like I said, anticlimactic. Did we really believe Kris Jenner was going to get a hearing aid?
Well, I think later on in the season, there's going to be something that they were crying about in a preview where it was like Chris found I don't know if it was like a tumor or something. I don't
So
know,
another
some kind of thing going on. And we saw Kylie crying. I don't know if that was related to that. So
Mhm.
there's still more Chris health concerns coming.
Alrighty. Well, back at Chloe's house, her hairdresser taught her son to call him Gunkle because he kept calling him dad, which is pretty sad. That's just me saying it, not the article. While getting ready, she FaceTimed Kim and Chris and decided to pick Kim up for her birthday party. So Kim's birthday party at the end of the episode was attended by high profile guests such as Ivanka Trump, Kamora Lee Simmons, and Lauren Sanchez, among others. It was a ladies only party, and Kim expressed her gratitude for having such wonderful friends. She said the reason she never had to go to therapy was because she had such good friends. Kylie showed up fashionably late, claiming she had a shoot. Chloe called her the fireworks at the end of the party as she livened up the place. And that was episode 3, y'all. Okay, so what do we think here about this BS? That's what I'm calling
The party really reminded me of my early 20s where we all used to like go to the pick a restaurant and it was like a whole bunch of us.
Yeah,
We did that a lot.
we did.
So it was nice to reminisce on that. Call me nostalgic from Inside Out too. Uh, so that was nice to see, and her old friends and her new friends. I don't understand what her and Ivanka have in common, or Lauren Sanchez, or Kimora, but that's another story for another day. I don't
Mm.
know, but I loved everything about it. Kylie, we already know Kylie is doing half of the work here. Like she's
Half.
not the
We're gonna give her half.
10% of the work. She's showing up. Okay. Presence means everything.
Mhm.
So I don't know if she's the fireworks of it all, but I mean, her outfit was nice. Kim's outfit was nice.
Um. Well, okay. So, it did remind me as well of some of our old dinner parties, birthday dinner parties that were a lot of fun. We weren't billionaires then. We're not billionaires now, but I'm just saying. It was fun, and Kim's comment about the therapy thing, it did rub me the wrong way because, yeah, for sure. That's not. It's not like, anyway. Whatever. Point is, I just thought like, okay, when you're especially when you're younger, right? Yeah, your friends are your free therapy because,
I was about to say we were our own therapist, like each other's therapists growing up as teens.
exactly, as teens in our early 20s, mid 20s, and I'm not going to go further cuz you'll kill me. Um
Mhm.
and that was great. But at
Yeah.
a certain point, like, to me it's like everybody has issues, everybody has problems, and the depth of what we feel sometimes, that's too much to put on anybody else. So I feel like therapy for me, and I've talked about it on previous videos we've done, therapy for me has been an amazing outlet to help me get through things that I wouldn't want to put onto my friends because that's too much. It's entirely too much. And I know from experience, when like I've had other friends come to me, confide in me, and all that stuff. Some of their issues are very, very deep, and sometimes it feels like no amount of help that you can give them will be appropriate, and so then you feel helpless because can you really help this person? Obviously, as friends, we do what we can. We're there for one another. We support one another. But at the end of the day, there's only so much a friend can do because they have their own lives and they have their own worries and concerns. And at some point, it can be a lot. And as E and I have been dealing with for the past month and a half, lifing, our friend circle or our friend group has been going through a lot. And it's a whole bunch to really just put into like one person. And so that kind of to me was like, okay, ma'am, you probably would benefit from some real therapy. But, you know, here you are saying what you're saying and whatever. Kim always makes these random comments that she probably shouldn't make. So the dinner was cute. I didn't really care for several of the guests, but it was cute.
Really, I didn't take the therapy comment like that, but then again, I missed the whole Malika thing, storyline. I took it as, hey, I'm like, she has such great friends. And I don't know if this is the optimistic part of me. She has such great friends. And, like, friends almost serve a purpose sometimes. Like, this friend group can deal with these kind of problems, or this specific friend can deal with this kind, and this
Yeah.
friend knows everything. So, they
Yeah.
have the backstory, the front story, what could happen. They have all the deets. So I just took it as my friend group, my core group, my family. They're just so great that, you know, I don't need anything else. But I can see your point of view.
Yeah, and I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it. I mean, definitely. Um because that I've always seen like friends as like soulmates as well, because there's things you tell your friends that you probably wouldn't even tell your partner, or like there's things that you'll share with your friends they're things that your friends will take to the grave, you know? Like, anyway. So to that extent, like, yeah, definitely it's an amazing thing. But again, like, sometimes we go through things in life. Sometimes we go through things almost every single day for a whole month straight in life. And that's too much to put on people. So point is, it's great that she has, or she feels she has, such a strong group of friends that she can rely on and everything. But anywho, Kylie showing up at the end, very on brand for Kylie. I don't know about fireworks, because how would we know that? We never see Kylie. So anyway, that was episode 3, y'all.
Guys, let us know what you think in the comments about this episode. Were you offended the same way? I guess not offended, but bothered like Dee was
Hmm.
regarding Kim's comment about therapy, like who needs it? What do we think about Tris Trash being mentioned again?
I
This
have a
is
headache.
season 5. We've been talking about him every season, probably every episode in the season. This is what, episode 43? 43 episodes of Trish Trash Talk.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Ugh, I'm
Like,
exhausted.
should Chloe forgive him? If y'all say yes, I'm deleting the comment. I'm kidding. Maybe not. It depends. But let us know what you think. But that concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends so we can all be friends. We also have social media, which C will tell you about.
We are on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. Make sure you guys like, follow, share, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Comment. You can also listen to the episodes in podcast format via Spotify, YouTube Music. We will get things updated. We've had a lot of unplanned hiatuses because, like I said, life.
Life. Life.
Yes. So things will be back up and running fully, hopefully soon enough. But yeah, you guys should definitely check out all of the socials and everything.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.